Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heel Team 6 Wrestling is proud to present the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. I am your co-host, the quintessential Puerto Rican muffin, Jorge Luis Martinez Jr. And folks, as always, please, follow us, hit the like, the subscribe button on the YouTube. We're getting a lot of followers. We're getting a lot of people watching the videos. We actually got some comments that I actually felt funny, actually answering back to the comments, so that was fun. So that was kind of cool, so I like that. So please, follow us, subscribe, listen, enjoy. We appreciate everyone who does, and it just gives us butterflies, and that's fun when you do. Today, I was only able to conjure up one columnist for the day. He's straight out of the mean streets of Florida. You already know who he is. Hating in the world, he just made a pizza for his kid, and I think he took the pepperonis off because he hated the pizza. So I don't know what's going on down there, but Mr. Chef, please introduce yourself to the world, brother.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Your favorite hater is back, and yes, and you know what's crazy is I didn't even tell Jorge that I made a pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
and literally right before I walked in, when he went to grab the plate, I did plug a pizza pepperoni off so I could just walk into my room and do this podcast. So, I don't know if you're a psychic friend or something, but you hit it on the head.
Hey, man, like I said, the hate just transmitted up here into New York, bro. It's so cold outside that the hate right now from you is just like melting the snow outside the window. So I appreciate that. Also, Chef, I want to bring up to the rest of the fans that hopefully next week or 2 weeks from now, we're going to have an in-depth sit-down interview with you and another one of the members of the Heel Team 6 to go over the first Heel Team 6 Wrestling show that's coming up on June 14th entitled The Blueprint. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with you and really getting in-depth, asking you all the questions and who's going to be there and breaking down all the matches and stuff like that. So I know I'm looking forward to it, and the fans are looking forward to it too, brother.
Man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like, I love my partners. You know what? Every day, I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you truthfully, I'm driving them nuts. I'm always just bugging them. This is that. But the great part is, even when we get frustrated, like, these people, like I said, are family. So it's crazy. It's a bugged out process. We're definitely going to go into depth about it. We're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Yes. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because here we go. And we're going to start with WWE RAW, which was kind of interesting show this past Monday. 3 hours of a lot of, scripted nonsense. But once again, after the dust settled, there was a couple of things that were interesting from the show. We have the Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins came back together as the Shield for, I'm guessing that's got to be like the 5th time in the last 6 years, and probably twice in the last 6 months, because as we remember, they had just came back together, and then Roman Reigns got sick. He left. They turned the Shield and broke them up and turned Ambrose bad. Roman Reigns come back 2 weeks later. Hey, everything's back to normal, right? Let's put him back together. And now they're saying for one last time. Yeah, we keep hearing that one all the time. But, they're back together again. And I don't know. I mean, I know the fans love it. I think it's just kind of too much right now, how they just keep breaking them up and putting them back together. When Roman Reigns comes back, like if any other guy would have been off, they would have got a substitute. But once Roman Reigns goes, they break up the crew. So I don't know about that one. But also we had the big main thing with Ronda Rousey, Stephanie McMahon, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. The 3 ladies came out. And then at 10:55 p.m. Eastern, Ronda Rousey did her power walk to the ring. They managed her belt back. beat the crap out of both of the ladies, turn heel, in which I am not a Ronda Rousey fan. I am a Ronda Rousey UFC fan. But after that promo, I am a Ronda Rousey wrestling fan because she definitely seems more comfortable doing the heel thing and going off at the fans. But anyways, Mr. Chef, what do you think, or what was your point of view from all the stuff that happened this Monday?
I think I'm gonna stick on my ground with the Shield thing. I don't got problems with people getting back together or whatever, but I got a problem with when you're trying to build a storyline. And 2 weeks ago, you had three guys who, like, when they ever cut a promo, this is my brother, right? So you have a major, turn of events when Dean Ambrose goes at Seth Rollins. All of a sudden they're beefing, and then 2 weeks later it's all love. Now, granted, yeah, brothers fight. I got lots of brothers from other mothers. You know what I mean? Like, and you do, you scrap it out, you have a beer, but this is wrestling. This is storyline shit, and you're trying to build going forward. So at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, oh man, whatever. The Shield's back. It's like that ongoing joke. When is it ever going to end? Is it ever going to end? I mean, I don't care. Whatever people want to say about Roman, say whatever you want. But at the same time, they feel like they have to do this to try to help him get over. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm over it. To be honest with you, I love Alexa Bliss. I hope she's okay because I only see her in these little, promo sessions she's doing, and they always get interrupted. It is kind of funny, but like, at the same time, like, damn, I hope Shorty's able to get back in the ring someday. Ronda Rousey. I'm a huge Ronda Rousey UFC fan. Like, is she a diva and complains and all this other shit? Absolutely. I like her as a heel. And I think at this point, you have to make her a heel because Becky Lynch is so over that Ronda Rousey is a good guy is not going to get the support that Becky Lynch is going to get because she's so over. So what do? You turn her a heel and beat the shit out of her. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's the first time I watched, Ronda Rousey in anything in WWE and was like, whoa. Because they give her such a limited arsenal of moves that it's kind of like, the same shit over and over. This actually felt like a legit attack. We know it's not real, because, she'll put the beats on these girls, but it looks so realistic that you do get caught up in it. Like, oh shit, like she put the work on them. I mean, it was an all right show. I mean, it was meh, but I loved the finish though. I thought Rousey going heel and putting in work was dope.
Yeah, like I said, I was very impressed with her towards the end when she just came out and she said, "Screw it, I hate this person, I hate the fans," and she felt comfortable actually saying all that stuff. Like, she actually just didn't seem nervous. She just got the mic and just like was out there just to let everything just go. Another two funny things that I noticed from that show is, I don't know the two gentlemen from Saturday Night Live because I don't watch Saturday Night Live, but the two gentlemen are walking around in the back, and they have the segment and they stop by and they see EC3, spraying himself, and then they kind of just like look at him, and then EC3 just stops there, and then they keep walking, and then they stop like 10 feet away from him. Now you see him in the background, he's still standing in the same position, but not the light got turned off. But you can still standing like he's there like a mannequin. And then you see the No Way Jose line, No Way Jose, and they have my cousin that I call him, my cousin on Twitter, Gavi Ortiz from the Monster Factory, dressed in the pink outfit, leading the Jose Plays thing. And I was laughing because the whole time you see this poor guy EC3 just standing there to this whole segment in the background in the dark like a mannequin. I'm like, wow, like this is like, I mean, this is why he wanted to go back to this. I know they probably use some, they'll push him forward sometime in the future, but dude, man, it was just awkward 25-30 seconds, and this man is just in the back in the dark, just staying there like a frozen mannequin holding this bottle.
I mean,
I'm like, wow.
I agree with you.
I was embarrassed for him, to be honest with you.
You know what? Like, it's one of the dudes that, and I don't say this about a lot of people because I pretty much met the entire roster.
Hey man, I love EC3. I met him
Yeah.
2 years ago on his anniversary. The dude is a good looking. I'm gonna say this and not offend anybody. I'm a heterosexual for I love women, but that dude right there, he's a good looking guy. I mean, in person, he dresses like a man should dress, like a professional. Like this dude is a champion. He should have a belt at all times around his waist and then he has a sense of humor that is so damn funny, and he's so damn down to earth, man. And I spoke to him like half an hour for that day, on and off, and this dude is hilarious.
And that's
love
the thing.
that guy. I love that dude, man.
Yeah, I was exactly going to say with the way he dresses, because you're 100%. He feels like a champion.
Yes, he looks like a champion.
Yeah, he's great. Look, he's a complete package.
Oh.
The thing with people that people might understand is, he's like the best of both worlds, because I've had conversations with him where it's been mad silly and funny, and I've had conversations with him where his intellectual palate is absolutely amazing. Like the words he comes out of his mouth, he's extremely educated. And people might not understand that because he's EC3, he's kind of funny and he does things. But if you listen to him, he's mad educated. And I was like, damn, like EC3, and I always said this, and we used to always mess around when he came to the ramp. And for Impact fans, if they paid attention, there were times where he wouldn't even step on the Impact logo on the ramp. Like he'd walk around it. And we were always telling him, like, this is the house that you built. And we thought that he should have been the face of Impact Wrestling. Like, to me, he should still be the face. You know what I mean?
If he ever comes back, he should be the face of the company.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I don't know how long his contract is, but if he doesn't get a major push by the end of that, I would love for him to come home and take back his throne. Because right now, there is no person on that roster that I would put over him. I'm a huge EC3 guy. Obviously, people know we are. But for him to be sitting in the background like some jabroni in the dark, it was funny, but it kind of irked the shit out of me too.
Oh, I was embarrassed for him, to be honest with you. I said, damn, man, this dude has relegated to this role. Like he's in the background just like a statue. This dude, you never even saw him flinch not once. And it was just like this 25, 30-second long segment of the whole thing going on there. And I'm like, wow. And then the other news all the news that came out earlier that night was that the Sicilian Psycho there, Tommaso Ciampa, actually has a real life-threatening, career-ending injury on his neck, and he's gonna have to have a neck fusion surgery. So he's gonna be out for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, if he comes back.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. Like, I'm in Florida. I know Evolve. You know what I mean? I've never been a fan of Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa or however you say it.
Yeah, Ciampa.
But like, these are human beings. Yeah, these are human beings, and you don't want to see anyone get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fan, but I would never want to see anybody go through that. So I hope he can get back in the ring someday. But at the end of the day, like, I hope he can just function normally. You know what I mean? Because that's such a serious injury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it right. Function normally, because I mean, we want to see him in the ring, but first and foremost, he's gonna have to get that surgery, go to physical therapy, just to be able to walk again, learn to walk, learn to hold things, learn to grab things. So just to get back to the normal routine, that's the most important thing, and God bless him, and everything. And like you said, we might not like everybody, we might not dislike people. That's what makes us fans. But at the end of the day, we do not want anybody to get hurt, like something like that. That's life threatening, and that could change his whole life going forward. So so with that said, we move to Tuesday night SmackDown. Same regular show like they always do. Only two things that came out was that finally Samoa Joe is the champion in WWE. He defeated in a 4-way the champion R-Truth, Mr. Andretti which is now his name is Andres now. No more the whole Sin Almas nonsense.
No.
And the little midget there, Mr. Rey Mysterio Jr. again, in a 4-way, and Mr. Samoa Joe is now a first time title holder, and he became the United States heavyweight champion. So I was very surprised it happened on TV. I'm excited that it happened because he has the title, and hopefully they'll keep him as that persona that he has now, and don't change him and going forward. But I enjoyed it, and once again, they have the Fast Lane coming up on Sunday, and again you're gonna have the Andrade versus Rey Mysterio match again as one of the matches for the show on Sunday. And I'm thinking, how many times they're gonna have these two guys wrestle? It's already been like 4 weeks in a row. And now it's going to be a 5th week. And all just so they could do a half version of the Canadian Destroyer move. Because they always do it where it's, half done to the air or jumping off the ropes. Now we get to see it again in a different variation now. So, I don't know. And then also the finale of the night was, once again, another verbal outrage between Charlotte and Becky Lynch again, as they finished the show, and this time Becky Lynch beat the crap out of Charlotte, and which makes me laugh is when she puts her in the arm breaker. I'm thinking to myself, how can she flex her legs back that much if she supposedly has a leg ankle injury? Things that make it go Oh, and one more thing, Mandy Rose, who's gonna wrestle Asuka coming up on Sunday, defeated Naomi in a 48-second match that lasted 48 seconds, which I'm guessing this is the punishment of Naomi and her husband, one of the Usos, when they got pulled over for the DWI in Detroit. I'm guessing this will be her punishment going forward. Well, she'll be able to get squashed in matches, which I thought that was a total disrespect on her part. And then we found out that Asuka had a little incident Monday night at one of the shows. So we'll see if she'll be okay on Sunday. Even though they said that she was fine, but it'll be interesting if she loses the belt. Then we'll go into further, thinking like there was something more wrong than we thought. So, any thoughts on any of the stuff that happened Tuesday night, my friend?
Okay, I don't like SmackDown, but I mean, once again, I call myself an Impact hater. I don't want to sound like an Impact homer or a mark. Samoa Joe's one of those guys that I've always liked. I've always liked Samoa Joe. And it's funny because we always say that it's his first WWE belt. I literally was talking with someone else, and they were like, but it's not. And I was like, well, yeah, it is. And they were like, oh, he was the NXT champ. I was like, yeah, well, that's NXT. Yeah. That's NXT. Yes, it's a WWE belt, but that's NXT. Like, when you think of holding a title, the ones that you want to hold are on the main cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For Samoa Joe to finally get a belt, and I think he's been there for, 2-3 years in WWE already?
Oh, yeah, because I think, almost 2 years or over a year and a half at NXT, and now it's been over a year in the main roster now, I believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's been over there for a while, and he had that great match where I think he got hurt with Lesnar and Braun Strowman, and you're like, holy shit, he's already in this picture. And then, he got hurt, and then all of a sudden you really didn't see shit, and you're like, what the hell are they doing with him? You give him this belt. I love the fact that he's got it. Samoa Joe's a badass dude. You can't water this guy down. Let him be who he is, and fans are going to love him. I love the fact he's got that title. I hope it's not a short reign. I do agree that this Andrade and Rey Mysterio is, way overdone. You know what I mean? At this point, I don't feel like this match has any kind of interest because we've seen it. You know what I mean? It's just slightly different, but it's pretty much the same shit. And you're like, all right. And then as for the whole Canadian Destroyer thing, we know where that comes from.
Oh, for sure.
I don't mind guys using moves or not renaming it. I don't really care about that stuff, but it's been like that they focus on that one spot. Like, oh my God, did you see this? Yeah, we've seen it 4 or 5 times in a row.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen
You know
it,
what I mean?
if you're an Impact fan, we've seen it how many years, every week for years.
Oh man, I mean, it's dude. I'm a huge Petey Williams fan. Love Petey Williams. I tweeted him one time because I was watching an ICW show, and a dude did the Canadian Destroyer from the top of the turnbuckle through a table on the outside to somebody, and yo, did you see that shit? He was like, oh yeah, one of my buddies sent it. It was fucking amazing. He's like, I don't mind when people do it and they do crazy shit like that and they make it look good, but when they do the same thing and then they try to act like it's special, he goes, that's when it's annoying. And I thought it was one of the coolest tweets because he's saying, you know, take this and then elevate it. You know what I mean? Like make it yours. But people just want to oh my God, the Canadian Destroyer. Okay, well we've seen this shit for like fucking, I don't know how many years has Pete Williams been in Impact. Like
His whole life.
yeah, you know what I mean? You pretty much seen this for like 16 years and shit. And oh my God, because it's on WWE, it's the shit. Like those are the fans that drive me nuts because they act like they've never seen anything and I've always been on record to say I never liked the broken stuff. I never enjoyed it. I never thought it was cool. But then when they bring it there, they're like, oh my God, this broken stuff is so amazing and revolutionary. What are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm sorry to stop you there because you just juggled something in my mind. The Hardy Boys are back again, and now they're back as the Hardy Boys. There's no more woken anything. Matt Hardy is back to having black hair, back to normal, I guess.
You know why? Because it was a flop. By the time it hit WWE, and you had the one Bray Wyatt, I don't even remember what it was called.
The Wyatt family?
The Wyatt family?
Yeah, the Wyatt family. The compound. Yeah, the compound with the New Day. A week later, after the Impact had done the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when it gets there, it's already been ran in a hole because Impact was running that shit in a hole. And by the time it got there, it was already watered down. It was kind of like when NWO first came to WWE. It ran its course. Vince McMahon was like, yo, this shit ain't working. Get rid of this garbage. You guys are going to be 40-year-old boys again.
Yeah. So what do you thought about the other Becky Lynch and Charlotte?
I mean, I agree with you. If you're going to tell a story and act like somebody's hurt, please let them be hurt. You know what I mean? Like, they'll say, oh, you can't be around because you're hurt. And then all of a sudden you're fucking hopping around, running on your leg and doing crazy moves, revolving around your legs when you're supposed to have a blown out leg. You know what I mean?
And then the night before she got punched like 50, 60 times and not one bruise, not holding anything. She just walked to the ring like last night never happened.
Like nothing. And that's the part. That's the killer. Is you have a chick who's a professional or a former mixed martial artist who could put the world hurting on you, and literally the next night is you come out like Raw is a whole different universe. Like the Smackdown roster doesn't exist with Raw, so I can get pummeled over there and be hurt over there and wrestle over here and be fine. It's like, yo, it was yesterday. Like, can you at least pretend to be hurt? Like that kind of drove me nuts.
Yeah, another thing that the interesting about the Hardy Boys is what they have signed a 3-year contract, and what they did was they signed a 2-year contract with a 1-year option, like they do in sports. And the option was usually is the player's option, like if you want to resign with the company for the year. Except this one was the opposite. It was a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year option on the owners, WWE.
Wow.
And before the thing expired, which was supposed to expire a couple of days ago, WWE re-signed them and took the option. So now they're stuck there for another year, which is the reason why you saw the Hardy Boys come back as the old Hardy Boys.
Wow, I did not know that.
I just remember that because I had seen it, I read it. And that's what they do in sports, especially in baseball. They put an option year that either the team takes the player or the player remains in the team or says, I'm leaving. They didn't give them a chance to say no. They put it as a WWE option. And before, like I think like 2 or 3 days before it was about to expire, they signed them in. So now they're stuck for another year now with them.
You know what kills me is these guys, like, they're in control of their lives. You know what I mean? And they've been in the game so long that you should have fought against that. Like, if you felt you weren't, you didn't like the direction, or what you came in for wasn't what you were getting, there's no way that with the level they are, because let's face it, like, those dudes, they're going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, for sure.
They'll definitely go into the Impact Hall of Fame. I don't know if they were in, I don't think Jeff Hardy was ever in ROH, but like, like I knew Matt Hardy was. I don't know if they have a Hall of Fame, but like, these are two legendary guys. I might not be a fan, but they're two legends. There's no way that at this point of your careers, you allow them to have the option. You should have had the option.
And then the one last news from the WWE, your boy Mr. Slapnut himself, Jeff Jarrett, is now part of the creative team of the WWE. Now, how crazy is that, bro? This guy, we've seen this guy wrestle WWE, NWA, or WCW, goes and builds his own company for 15 whatever years he was there, leaves, starts his own different company, GWF, and then goes back to Impact and then leaves again, and then he's suing Impact for this. Then he goes into the Hall of Fame. He shows up to wrestle one match, and now he's in the creative thing. I mean, like, what a roller coaster ride that's gotta be. Leaving to start your own company, and now you're gonna go after the company that you built, and now nobody even knows what happened to the GWF company. Like, does it still exist? Did McMahon absorbed it? Like, see, what happened with that?
That's the part that, like, I love Jeff, and it's one of the coolest moments I've ever had was picking his brain from WCW and NWA. Like, I got to sit down and talk to this man, and it was like a wrestling library, you know what I mean? But it was like from the writer itself. So I've had a lot of cool moments talking to him, and he's an unbelievably nice guy. But my thing was like, okay, you left Impact, you made GFW, it did okay. It didn't get a TV deal or nothing like that. He had a really good roster. You had Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, the Bollywood guys I know at one point were in NXT. Like, you had a bunch of guys.
Congo Kong.
You got Congo Kong, Sugar Honey Iced Tea.
Reno Scum.
Reno Scum, exactly. A lot of the guys you've seen, you had Sanjay Dutt, a lot of the guys you've seen come to Impact came from GFW. So it was like, wow, you had a really good young, group of guys. And what happened? Like, I know he had the issue with Impact or Anthem, whoever, whichever one he wants to blame, that's fine. You go back to WWE, but why would you not do your own thing? Like, I don't understand, because personally, I think that right now, wrestlers need more places to make money. You know what I mean? Like, the whole wrestling industry, it feels like it's coming back up, but it's also taking a major hit, and you'll see it through all the people who are watching, like, Smackdown, Raw, they're not getting the numbers they once had. Impact doesn't get numbers. ROH ain't getting numbers. MLW ain't getting numbers. Like, if you can put out a good product and become a partner, do like how Impact did with AAA and everyone else who's trying to partner up with everybody, trying to use each other for the best. And I don't know, for some reason I just felt like he took me out. And I love Jeff Jarrett. I love him back in WWE. Please create, because they're struggling there with creative. But at the same time, it's like, I wish he would have stuck with GFW to see what could have, what could it have done.
Yeah, so then we move forward, and then Wednesday, we had a little, on Twitter was going crazy, because we had our good friend Ronda Rousey there, getting like a manicure, pedicure, and faciacure, and all that kind of nonsense. And she was cutting up like this humongous, vulgar, just going crazy F the W universe and the fans and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, this is amazing. this is how she should have been done from the beginning. Let her be a heel. Let her cut promos like this, especially now in the social media age where they could do stuff like this outside of the ring and keep their feuds going. And people, of course, we have the non-wrestling fans and people who think they know everything, like F Ronda, F this, you unselfish, blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking to myself, like, people, like, realize for a second, do you think for a minute that Uncle Vinny doesn't know what the hell's going on with her, what she's doing? He's probably feeding her lines like, do this, you got the okay, do what you have to do, keep the fans interested, get the heat going for WrestleMania, because that's what's going to happen. That's what she's doing. And you have people just believing that it's all true, like, oh, this selfish, blah blah. And I'm thinking, just relax, people. If nothing's gonna happen that Vince McMahon doesn't know that is happening. Now, I don't know if you saw the video, Trev. What if you did? What do you think about that whole, profanity laced little promo that she did there on Wednesday?
Dude, I love when people start cursing in promos. I just enjoy that shit. I know she also she works with Paul Heyman. I know she's been working with Paul Heyman, so you can see her getting better. I was on Instagram and I'm just scrolling through shit. I see Ronda Rousey. I'm like, oh, she's going nuts. I instantly hit you up. Like, dude, did you see how fucking what the fuck's going on? Like, you always hear the rumors, oh, after WrestleMania she's leaving. And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, I don't watch a lot. Trying to build your own promotion, you're dealing with so much shit. You really don't want to hear wrestling 24/7. So I try to stay out the loop as much as I can. But when I seen it looked mad real. I was like, oh shit, like, she's like, this ain't no shoot, this ain't no fucking program, fuck WWE Universe. I'm like, damn, like, you're going ham out here. I was like, this chick is wilding. But it shows that if you give her the ball like this, she can make you forget for a second. This is make believe. She said it's make believe, but like, she was so good at it that for a second you forget this is just wrestling. Like, and let's face it, ain't nobody talking crazy without Vince McMahon's permission. Uncle Vince ain't playing around like that.
Like, for a second, if he knew that she went rogue on herself and she did all this on her own on Instagram and put the WWE name to the ground, she would have been fired already. Ain't no question about that. She would have been done.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine from work who was like, oh, nah, no way he wouldn't get rid of her because of her name. I'm like, are you crazy, dude? I was like, this dude will fire her in a heartbeat. He'll fire anyone in a heartbeat if they disrespect his product. That's his product, you know what I mean? He built that.
And he's not going to have anybody just go there rogue on their own, doing something on exactly. That's crazy. But yeah, so that's the WWE news and stuff like that. Now, we're going to move to my favorite federation, of course, and the one that Chef hates, Impact Wrestling.
Well, wait, you forgot one.
Which was that one?
Lucha Underground.
Oh my God. How can I forget that? I'm sorry, folks. I skipped ahead to my favorite company, but I just remembered, thanks to Chef, that Lucha Underground is on. I think they are skating on some ice, and I believe the ice is cracking as we speak, because there's a lawsuit that's just been sent out by 4 wrestlers. Including 2 being Ivelisse and Joey Ryan, of their contracts. And last night I was making fun, I think it was either last night or Wednesday, where they actually have a merchandise blowout sale of 70% off everything from the Lucha Underground store website. So I'm like, I think the ice is beginning to crack. And I think after I saw that 70% off thing, I think they're ready to liquidate, because they're trying to get as much money as they can just in case if the plug gets pulled. And I believe we might have seen the last of Lucha Underground for a long time. Mr. Chef, what do you think, man? Do you think it's legit? You think it's just going to go on for a while, or?
No. I think this is legit. I think this is a major issue. Um, I mean, people like Evilise are literally handcuffed into this bad contract.
Which she signed
It,
on her own.
no, no question, no question. I don't feel bad for people who do these things because you need to have like a lawyer. Like when you're a professional athlete or entertainer, you should have a lawyer. You gotta have a lawyer. You gotta have someone that can read through the fine line. Like I feel bad for the person, but at the same time, like you said, just like an athlete, like with like the Antonio Brown thing.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just signed a contract, and he's trying to fight, get himself out. You signed that contract. You know what I mean? I don't feel bad for you because you signed that contract. But at the end of the day, like that guy made millions. She did not.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I do feel for her in a way, but at the same time, like you said, you signed that bad contract. You have to live up to that bad contract. Like, so if they go under, I don't know if Impact buys them. I don't know if El Rey keeps their archives, and do whatever they do with them. I don't know what's going to work, but I do think the wild part was that 70% off thing. I don't think that's a smoke signal. I think that's fire. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is real bad. The building is burning, and for some reason nobody wants to call the fire department. I hope not because people need places to work. But I mean, shit. You know what I mean? Like, this looks real bad.
Yeah, I would expect a 70% off if it was like a Black Friday in November, but we're in March, so yeah, it's still a lot of months before we get there to have a 70% off sale like that. So I'm pretty sure that's called liquidation sale, and let's try to get enough cash as we can before the ship goes under.
Yeah.
So, but it happens. Hopefully, if they do go under, then everybody will be free from their contracts, and then they're able to go and work for not like you said, everything's coming back, AEW and stuff like that. And hopefully, before they sign contracts, they read say contract before they get themselves back into some stupid, bad stuff again. But I digress. Now let's move forward to my favorite company, Impact Wrestling, which is on tonight. And last week, I don't know if you watched the show, but the main event was Killer Cross Moose against Cage and Morrison. Now I just sat there watching it, and I said, okay, it's another the same four guys again, except something happened that I haven't seen in Impact in a while, and it intrigued me like real good, and it looked even better on my HDR HD 2300 55-inch screen here, and that was the blood coming out of Cage's forehead, and it was a lot of blood, and he was getting beaten in the middle of the ring while Morrison was in the corner with supposedly a neck injury, and everybody's checking on him, and Moose and Cross are just teeing up on this dude, and all that blood is just coming out. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen this in a long time. And in that moment, for those next 8-10 minutes, dude, I was intrigued. I was like caught to, because I haven't seen blood in a while on Impact. The last time we were supposed to have blood was the OVE LAX match with the barbed wire, and then they went because that's when they started messing around with Twitch, and that was the first Twitch match. Was that match because they put it on Twitch because it was too violent for TV, so we didn't even see the blood on TV. We actually got to see it on Twitch. So, dude, I was excited when I saw that blood, and I was like, wow, like they actually, I now see why it's better to be on something like Twitch than on TV, because you can actually push the envelope on this like this, dude. And it was a lot of blood. Like this dude, and then Cross just screaming at him, oh, you think you're a machine? Well, a machine's not supposed to bleed, and just kept beating the crap out of him, dude. I was like, what? that was the first time I've been this excited for a match in a long time. There was just blood everywhere, bro. I'm stuck on the blood part. But dude, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. I loved it, man. I don't know if you got to see it or not, if you watched the replay or not, but it was awesome.
You know, I caught Impact. I thought the show was all right. I was like, okay, it was a decent show. I'm kind of losing steam on Cross a little bit. I do like the thing is, I like when he talks like that, like when he says, "Oh, you go through a machine like a machine's not supposed to bleed."
Yeah, dude, that was. I like that line, and the counter was right there listening to him.
Yeah, he feels like a natural born killer again. Yes. You know what I mean? And they have taken him so far away from that character that I've already been like, you know what? Like, I really dug this guy, and now I'm like, whatever. But that kind of intrigued me, and I was like, all right, hopefully you get Cross by himself, and you know he's wilding out. Maybe do like kind of like Sting, where not like obviously with a bat or nothing, but like in the rafters, just kind of get him in like creepy little areas. Let him cut like a 1 or 2 minute promo at the most, where it's just real shady. Put him behind a dumpster. Put him in an alley. Like just let this guy be dark. You know, let him be a wild dude instead of coming there and talking about fashion with moves and all types of dumb shit. Morrison, I'm Mundo, Impact, whatever.
Destiny, yeah, whatever, yeah.
He's like Dean Malenko with names. He's the man of a million names.
Jesus.
You know, it's like, I think he'd be an amazing mid-card guy. You know, like, I know he's probably the biggest name they have, you know, but I'm already over him.
Unfortunately, he is the biggest name they have at the moment. So, yeah, because of the Big Brother or whatever the stupid show was that he was in, Survivor or whatever, and yeah, of course. So,
I mean, I get that. I know he comes from WWE. I know he was around. I mean, we all get that. But I think that right now, Sami Callihan, and I'm not even a Sami Callihan fan. Like, I've never been a Sami Callihan fan, but I appreciate his work like nobody's business. I think if you do it right, and you have Sami Callihan somehow slide in, I love watching him lose. I don't know why. I think he's the best. You know, he's kind of like Piper. Like, you love watching this guy, and it doesn't even matter if he wins or loses. He's just a great loser. You know what I mean? Like,
especially when he loses, it's even better.
Yeah. When he's getting the shit kicked out of him,
every time.
It's like, and the crazy part is he's not a face. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, how the fuck is he so over heel and getting like he's not a heel that's dominating. He's a heel that's getting dominated.
Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked every match. Basically, he does kicking, but then he gets the upper hand at times. But then you love it when the other person gets the upper hand on him, and you just want him to get stumped, and you kind of get excited when you see him getting stumped.
Yeah, it's so ass backwards.
Yeah, man.
It's weird. But I would love for him to get a shot at it. You know, there's a few guys, like, my guy who I'm invested in, and I'm not a big fan of the Rascals. They're all super talented. I mean, they're super talented. The guy's name fucks me up. I'm not gonna lie, because like, every time I hear his name, I think about the singer, right?
Trey Miguel. That's what I told you, the R&B sensation, Trey Miguel.
Dude, every time I hear his name, I just be laughing because I'm like, oh my god, like, all right, they're all talented, but to me, and I've said this to him, I think that Desmond Xavier is the black version of AJ Styles. Like, I think he's just, not to coin the word phenomenal, but I'm going to do it just to be cheesy. I think Desmond Xavier is phenomenal, and I would love to see him get a push, you know what I mean? Like, and let him go up against fucking Sami Callihan until he can move his way up.
Yeah, you know, so that was the whole thing. The show was pretty good. I like the show. You know, tonight they're having where the Dark War, you know, where Rosemary got her team of Jordan Grace and Kiera Hogan, and this is the first time we actually gonna see Rosemary wrestle in Impact Ring since 2017.
Yeah,
because she was supposed to wrestle Bound for Glory against Taya, and then we all found out Taya got stuck with her visa, she got pummeled by Abyss in the match that she interfered in, and then she got hurt. And that was it. Nobody saw her again all last year till we started watching the videos again in Bound for Glory a year later. And now she's supposed to wrestle tonight. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how she moves around, because that ACL ain't no joke. I mean,
do you think she actually wrestles? Or do you think they baby her a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, you said you just hit the nail on the head. I'm pretty sure she'll get baby because it's a 6-man.
Yeah.
Instead of being a tag team match, they added everybody else. So I'm guessing it's going to be Su Yung against Ali, and then somebody else being one of the dead brides, which my guess the good guys will win, but then they'll have the dead bride take the pin so it doesn't look bad on Su Yung or Ali getting pinned. So, which makes sense getting the nobody getting pinned in the match. But I'm pretty sure if Rosemary wrestles, it ain't going to be a lot. I don't see her doing anything spectacular, maybe for 30 seconds a minute, and let somebody else take over the majority of the match. Just to be on the safe side.
She's one of your biggest knockouts, period.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And she resigned with the company. So
yeah, you gotta nurse that until she's 100%, not 92%. When she's 100%, release her. Go ahead, Rosemary, do your thing.
Do your thing, yeah. And and that's tonight. So I'm actually excited to see that match and see what happens. And also Reno Scum is back tonight, and they're gonna wrestle against Falaba and Kevin Matthews, KM, after Reno Scum lost last week, but then they kind of took the upper hand when they jumped them afterwards, which kind of sucks because, as we also know, Monday was KM's last day with the company since his contract expired, and he did not resign with the company. So that kind of sucks.
And what did his tweet say?
I think he said one word: free. I believe with a guy on his knees looking up in the sky with the rain coming down his face. Free. Yeah. So and the thing was, I believe that he's free, to be honest with you, because when he came in with a lot of hoopla. He came in, being somebody big and strong, and he was Sienna's cousin, and then he went from being that to I'm not a liar thing, and then he went to the whole Bobby Lashley MMA story where he was gonna join them there, or he did join them. Back to when Bobby Lashley left, they decided to cut everything off, and then he went back to being a liar, and then he went back to teaming with Fala, turning on Fala, getting beat back Rick Steiner, and then teaming back with Fala. So basically, I mean that's been his whole 3 years storyline right there in less than 30 seconds. So I mean, he's 35 now. I'm hoping he looks good. He's 6'5". He looks good. Has a jacked up body, man. Hopefully somebody out there, AEW, Ring of Honor, somebody gives him a real shot. But it's gonna suck watching him wrestle tonight, and he's no longer in the company. But then I saw that he's gonna be at the pre-show for United with Stan coming up. So he's probably still doing some some obligations with the company before he leaves. But yeah, that kind of blows.
I mean, you got Tried and True. Aren't they working with United We Stand too? Is it Tried and True?
No, that's going to be the next thing they're going to do for the Fort Braggs, like a military thing for the troops, which I found that kind of odd, since for the last 30 years it's been WWE doing that, and now Impact Wrestling wants to jump on that now. So I'm kind of surprised about that, even though Tried and True has a lot of veterans, Crimson, Dax, and a couple other guys who have actually served in the military and have been, discharged notably after doing their time. So yeah. I see the point why they're doing it. I just find it kind of weird that Impact is actually getting into the troop thing, but they're doing it from Fort Bragg, that's kind of cool. that they're actually gonna do it there. So
absolutely.
so that's gonna be cool seeing something like that. So, but I hate KFC go, but time is time to go. So. Well, I mean, any thoughts on KM leaving or?
You know what? I always liked Cam. I thought he was funny. I love the Biff kind of character. Like, if you don't know who Biff is, do yourself a favor, go to Walmart or Target, go buy the three movies of Back to the Future, and you'll know exactly what you know exactly what reference I'm talking about. But Biff, I thought it was new. Like you never really seen anybody go as hard as Biff. You know what I mean? Like. I was like, wow, what is it? And, I'm with my wife, like, he reminds me of so much. She's like, oh, it's like Biff. And I was like, oh, shit, like, he is like Biff. But, he's a good dude, really good wrestler. I mean, listen, when these guys, when they leave a company, you always hope to see them in another one. I don't know what AEW's got, store. I don't know what's going on with ROH, but you hope one of those guys, they land there. You see so many talented guys that they do it independently. You're like, wow, how come these companies, don't give a shot on these guys? It's a weird industry.
Very weird. Now, is there anything else you want to bring up that you remember, or?
Nah. I think we'll let him go out on top. He's great dude. Oh, if you want, and I have to do this here with the bias part. The show that they're going to be doing over there with Try to. The big homie, the Chesterfield play will be there, so Impact fans, you better watch that.
Now, isn't Bram also a veteran too, or?
No, Bram's not a veteran.
I thought he was. I think he did service before. I thought. No.
Okay. Definitely not. No, sir.
Okay.
But official trainer for the Tried and True Pro Wrestling School, and he is wrestling under that umbrella as well.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, hopefully, we get to see him again, the Impact again. With that show coming up, and maybe, like you said, maybe they'll start bringing some of those guys over to Impact Wrestling more often, and have them, go back and forth and stuff like that. Everybody, like you said, wrestling is changing. A lot of companies are signing those partnerships. They just had that big, nice OVW show Saturday that's going to be now shown tomorrow on the GWN app. So, that could be something else in the future. Try to improve, get them together also. They have a lot of talent. So.
Oh, yeah. And listen, a lot of those guys have great relationship with Impact. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah, especially Crimson and Dax. So.
Yeah, I mean, their champ right now is Crazy Steve, who, what better time to try to bring him back, especially if Rosemary gets healthy, you can bring him and then get Kay back.
We're out Abyss. You're gonna have to ask permission. Yeah, you have to have permission for WWE to get the footage for him now. Just to show the Abyss part. But if Chef, if there's anything else, then I want to say that to the fans to follow us, follow the Bodega Wrestling Podcast at Bodega Wrestling on Twitter. Also, if you want to follow me directly, I've also got an Instagram page at Astronites, Astro Nites. Chef, give them your thing there, brother. Tell them where they can follow you.
Oh, you know what? I'm not even going to ask you to follow me. You can follow the official Instagram of Heel Team 6 Wrestling. So it's going to be Heel Team S6X Wrestling, all spelled the same exact right way, except for the I in the 6. We got some really cool stuff coming. A month before the show, we're looking at, probably have some of the guys putting out some promos, things like that, to try to give them a nice little build up and, have people talk a little shit. So, have fun with it.
Cool. So for the Chef, and hopefully he still got some pizza left and pepperoni so he could throw around his kid. For myself, I'm here in the cold and I'm waiting for March 20th when spring is supposed to start. So we're looking forward to that. So for all of us here, guys, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for following us. Thank you for giving us a chance. We appreciate everybody. Don't forget to follow us at YouTube. subscribe, hit that little bell for the notifications, leave us comments. I want to read the comments. I want to answer back to the comments because it's fun getting comments. Hey, even if you don't like the show, give us a thumb down. I'll ask you why you gave us a thumbs down, and we could talk about it. And then you could go back and unthumb it and give us a thumb back up again. So, we like that too. So, but, thank you for everybody for listening. Thank you so much. And everybody have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you again next week.